Okay, so I best start back in 2015, early 2015. I was sitting at home one evening, just a normal day, sitting on the sofa watching YouTube, and I watched a diving video on in Thailand, and I thought the reef was amazing. Everything looked stunning, and I just thought, yeah, I'd love to do that. And the very next video I watched was a video on the aquarium in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the biggest in the world. And it's a documentary thing. It's a guy showing what it takes to clean it and things like that. And he was a diving instructor, and he was teaching these 3 or 4 young kids, probably early 13, 14, 15-year-olds, how to dive, how to use all the equipment, things like that. And I just thought to myself, yeah, that would be a really cool job, teaching people how to dive and get to go diving every day. In my bedroom I had a 3-foot saltwater tank with the rocks, the corals, the fish, the Nemos. Every week I did water changes on it, and it's a lot of hard work to keep the tank, but the tank was stunning, and I always loved the saltwater fish, the diving sort of scene. I've always wanted to go somewhere which has got palm trees where I could have a hammock. That was my dream, to go somewhere hot, have a beach hut, a hammock by the sea. And a little while after this, the seed was planted. I just thought I'd love to do that. I couldn't stop thinking about it, really. And then sadly one day my mum's mum died, my grandparent, and she left us all some money, basically. Me and my sister and my 2 cousins got a bit of money each, and my mum got the rest. So I decided to use this money to make my way to Thailand. So my plan was to go to Thailand, to live there, and to be able to get to the point where I can work and get paid as a diver. To do my diving courses up to the point where I could earn some money and live there on that job money. That was my plan. So it really took probably the next 7-8 months. I booked my ticket. I had 7-8 months till the date I had to leave, and in that time I did so many things. Everything in my house, from the TV, the fish tank. I sold all the fish, the corals and the rocks back to a fish shop for a good bit of money, and a friend of mine asked me for the tank, so I gave him the tank. I don't know what he done with it, if he still got it, whatever, doesn't really matter, but I need to get rid of it, and he wanted one, so he got the fish tank. And then slowly I started selling everything I had, or getting rid of everything I had, to the point where I was sitting on boxes. The TV was the last thing to go. The bed was gone. I was sleeping on the floor. Everything was empty. All I brought with me to Thailand was my rucksack, my Xbox, and my cat. So during this period of the 8 months, I had to sort the cat out for travel. I have a Bengal cat. She is my heart and soul, and obviously I was not going to leave her behind. So I had to buy all the bits for her, the carry case, go to the vet. She had so many injections, all sorts of stuff. It cost me about £300 in injections and cases and paperwork and everything like that. But it was pretty smooth. So I paid for Pepper, got all her sorted. I got all my gear sorted, everything that I wanted to take with me. Everything I didn't want to take, I wasn't coming back, so I had to get rid of it. So I sold everything, and literally My car was the last thing to go. I sold to a friend of mine literally a few days before I left. So I was ready to go. Nobody thought I'd do it, but I did. And everyone thought, including me at the time, thought it would just be a year or so, maybe, and then I'd go back. But I've actually been here now for 10 years. 10 years yesterday. So on the 1st of October was my 10-year anniversary, because I come here on the 1st of October 2015. So I've officially been here now for 10 years. I love it. I don't see myself moving anytime soon, but you never know what the future holds, and I don't know if I'm going to stay here forever, whether I have to leave. If I left, I wouldn't really want to go back home to England. I'd probably go to another Asian country, Vietnam or the Philippines, somewhere like this, or Indonesia. I'd love to dive in Indonesia. Indonesia is a stunning country. It's literally got the best diving in the world as well, and for a diver, it's a perfect place. But it's very hard to get a job there because they promote within, so they want Indonesian people to get the jobs, not foreigners, which is fair enough. Unless you live on the island and you've been there a while and you dive a lot, you get to know them, you may get a job. But it's not easy to get a job out there, but I would really love to dive out there. So I made my home Thailand. So before coming here on YouTube, I spent hundreds of hours looking at Thailand, all the different places where the diving was good. And during the research, I found one thing: all the diving places seem to go to Krabi. Lots of diving shops there, islands, beaches, things like this. Then I started watching hundreds of hours on Krabi, what it's like there, the towns, the diving shops. I got in touch with a few of them. I decided to go with one called Aquavision, so big up them, because they are still running in Da Nang. Alexi, great guy. If you see them, go and check them out. So I did all my courses when I got here. So once I had all my stuff ready to go and my date come around, I said goodbye to all my family, all my friends, and off I went. I actually booked a hotel, pet friendly of course because of the cat, for 5 nights. And in them 5 nights and 6 days, I had to find myself somewhere to stay, a house. And I did. I come here, I got to the hotel. The first thing I did was let the cat out, obviously. Plug the Xbox in. Bang, straight away it worked. I was talking back to the boys back home. Literally just landed, chatting to them. Everything worked great. Really happy that the Xbox worked. So I had 5 days, 6 days to go and try and find somewhere to stay. So basically, the little town that I was staying in, Da Nang, I basically drove from it's one big road that runs all the way through the town. So I started at one end on one side and I drove up and down every little back street, every little back road. I looked for houses for rent in cool places. I found loads of them up and down these roads. I took pictures of phone numbers and the houses. And when I got back at the end of the day, each day I worked out which ones I would like to live in, which ones are okay, and which ones, I'm going to leave out. So eventually, after a couple of days, I got a list of about 3 or 4 different places that I thought would be quite cool. So I rang around a few, and the first one I actually wanted was the one that I got. I spoke to the lady. She told me to come and have a look at the house. It was a 2-bedroom house. It was 15,000 baht, and I got in there, had beautiful steps up to it, greenery all around it, balcony. Walked in there, there's a big lounge, modern kitchen, 2 bedrooms, real nice bathroom. Beautiful. So I paid 6 months. In hindsight, I probably wish I didn't do that, because later on you'll find out. So I paid the rent, I signed the contract sort of thing, and I moved in. It was amazing. I had this 2-bedroom house. There was a sofa in there. I had my TV. It was their TV, but it was only a 32-inch, I think, just a small one. I had all my bits, so I unpacked a few bits and pieces, got a few bits for the kitchen. I went shopping. I bought everything I needed for the kitchen, a few other bits, cooker, gas can, a few other bits and pieces that I needed, and I settled in. You do have to realise that all my appliances, I bought the laptop, the phone charger, none of them worked because they have a different plug system. They have the 2-pin plug here, where in England we have the 3-pin, the big plug. But here you just have the 2 little metal pins. So I had to go out and buy adapters and other bits and pieces to make everything work. There was a fridge there, so I stocked up on everything for the fridge, and basically settled in. So the reason I come to Thailand was basically to find a job as a diver and work and get paid. Like I said, I spoke to Aquavision before I even come, emails and phone calls, said I'm coming over soon. Said when I get there I'll come and have a chat with you. He said, like, great, no problem. So when I first got here, I found my house after a few days. Then I thought, before I go to do this diving thing, I want to have a holiday. So I spent the next 1 or 2 weeks maybe just looking around the town. I looked in all the shops, up and down the beach fronts, found the massage places, some nice bars and different things. Just checked the place out basically. Within the first week, the guy is called Bew. Big up to Bew. He's a taxi driver, he's a van driver. He took me to a place after a week of being here to buy a motorbike. Second hand but really nice ones, in the showroom, loads of them, all for like 25 grand, 1,000 baht that is. But I thought I can either rent one for 2,000-3,000 baht a month or just buy one straight away and go for it. So I decided to buy one. So I spent the first week there, I spent another 25,000 baht to buy my own motorbike. It was a 125 Honda Click, little red one. I don't have it now, it's not the same one as this one. But I got this so I could explore, get around, go to the shops, that sort of thing. So yeah, from the moment I thought about watching them videos, thought about moving to Thailand, to actually deciding, getting rid of all my stuff, getting everything paid for, getting ready, and actually getting to Thailand, finding a house and renting a motorbike, was all in about 8 months. Once I got here, I found a house within 3 or 4 days. I bought a bike within a week. I looked around my town for a few weeks to get to know the area, drive up and down all these little roads, find places. I got the basic general layout of the place, and then I went to the shop. It was called Aquavision. Again, big up Aquavision. And I said, do you remember me? I said, I bought emails and phone calls. He said, yeah, of course. I said, I've moved here now. I said, I've got a new house. I said, I bought my bike. I'm ready to get going on my diving. So obviously with diving, you have a few things you have to do. First of all, you have to do what they call an open water course. It's basically a 3-day course. You spend 1 day in the pool with an instructor, and he teaches you everything in the pool, and then you spend 2 days in the ocean doing what you learn in the pool. If you can do it in the ocean and a few other bits and pieces, you will pass your open water, which will allow you to dive solo up to 18 meters deep. So I did this. As soon as I passed that one, the very next day I started my advanced course. Advanced course is 2-day course, maybe 3 depending. You have 5 or 6 specialty dives you have to do. So again, I've done all these dives. It's only take 2 or 3 days. I passed my advanced course. Great. As soon as that happened, I wanted to keep going. So I did my rescue diver. No, it wasn't. It was health and safety. So you have a health and safety or EFR course. I think it's only a day long, or maybe 2 days. I think it was 1. So I did my EFR, which is emergency first responder course, or your first aid, that sort of stuff. So you have to do this one diving. So I did this, and then I went to what we do call a rescue diver. Rescue diver was a really fun course for me. I really enjoyed doing it. You learn a lot of stuff on a rescue course you don't normally on other courses. So a lot of the other courses involve other things from other courses, but rescue diver is pretty much a standalone course, and you learn some really cool skills. So it only takes 2 or 3 days again to do this course, depending. So I did my rescue diver course. After you've done rescue diver, the next one is a dive master. So, but for a dive master course, you have to do a certain amount of dives. I think it was 40 back then. So you have to have 40 log dives before you can hit dive master. It might even be 60, but I think it's 40. So at this point I was like 10 or 15 dives short. So my instructor Jerome, again big up Jerome, Dutch guy, he's not here anymore, he's left back home somewhere, but he was my instructor. He took me on all my courses, my open water, my advanced, my health and safety, and my rescue, and including all the courses since. So I had to make up 10-15 dives. So basically my instructor Jerome would have work the day he might have customers. So he would take the customers out and I would basically follow. I would just sit at the back of the group, watch what he does, follow where he goes, make sure everybody stays in their place, blah blah blah. Learning as I go. These all count towards my dives. So each time I did this, logged it, he signed it off. Once I got my 40 dives, I then basically could then start to go for dive master. So dive master is a bit more to it. It's probably a 4 to 6 week course. It's your first step on the professional ladder. So if you pass your dive master course, you're technically a professional rather than a recreational diver. So I went to Aquavision again, and with Jerome, and you have a big list of things that you have to do. So over the next few weeks, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we went out many times, and every day we marked a few little bits off these lists. And basically after 3 or 4 weeks, all these little lists were filled in and done, and then at the end you have an exam. So you do the exam and basically pass the exam. Then I was now proud because I got to the point where I could work and actually earn some money. I became a dive master. So at this point it only really took me 2 or 3 months because I did all my courses pretty much after each other. Some people leave time, get experience between each dive before going to the next one. But I knew I was here, I knew what I wanted to do, so I wanted to get it all done. So I got to the point I was now a dive master. I now started to work for Aquavision to do dive master work, which is basically guiding. So you're basically a guide underwater. I can take people that are already certified, I can take them down, I can guide them round, I can bring them back, I can bring them up, take them back to the boat. I'm basically an underwater tour guide now. I can do this on my own without having an instructor with me, things like that. I'm now a professional diver, and I can now take customers with me when I go out. A dive master cannot teach courses, and they cannot do DSDs. Unless the dive master is with an instructor, then I think you're allowed to do a DSD or be with them while you do a DSD. But I spent probably the next 3 or 4 years as a dive master. I worked as much as I could. I learned all the islands, I learned where to go. There are quite a few islands here, a lot that the dive boats go to, so you have to learn direction, where they are underwater, certain like points, you know where things are. I made my own little routes on every island, so I knew where I was, where I'm going, blah blah blah. So I spent the next 3 years basically guiding people that already have a license around underwater, is a dive master. But because I live here long term, and I want to do this, and this is my job, it's one of the only jobs you're allowed to do here in Thailand, I thought to do my instructor course. Your instructor course basically allows you to teach courses. It allows you to be the guide like a dive master, and it also allows you to do DSDs. Teaching courses, you earn more money because you get 3 or 4 days money depending on how many students you have as well, boosts your money up. So you earn a lot more money doing courses and also DSDs because you're having to teach as well. So you get more money for this. So because I was staying here long term, I've been a dive master for 4 years. I know all the places, I know how to dive. I've got thousands of dives now. I decided to go for my instructor. And it wasn't easy. I'm not really the one that studies for many things, but I really studied hard for that dive master course. Basically, the dive master course, not dive master, my instructor course, sorry. So for the instructor course, you get a course director, and the course director comes in. There's only 1 or 2, I think, in Thailand or in this area. Is Rod Bateman, big up Rod. So he come in, and he basically, there was 2 of us doing our instructor course, me and Andrea. Big out shout out to him. So me and Andrea were sitting there, and Rod has 2 weeks to teach me and Andrea how to be instructors, how to teach, not only do the exercises, but how to do it in a way that you can teach other people so they can learn. So you spend the next 2 weeks in the classroom basically with Rod, and some in the pool sessions, to learn how to be an instructor. You have presentations to do, talking one, and lots of exams. So you have basically 2 weeks of learning, and then at the end of the 2 weeks you have 2 days of exams. The first day of exams, you'll be in the hall, you'll do your written exams. It's probably 5 sections, I think. You have to get 75% on each section to pass. And then after that, in the afternoon, you will do your vocal presentation. Then you'll have a subject that you'll be given on the day that you'll have to talk about for 5 minutes, and how it benefits you and the reef and everything else. My question was, why is the reef so important? So I had to talk about this and what I can do to save the reef. So obviously keeping tourists off, using things instead of touching the reef, all sorts of things. So I talked about this for 5 minutes, and then the next day you're basically in the pool. So you have the big instructor guy in front of you, and you're broken down into groups, because it was me and Andrea doing it, but when you get there, there's many people from different places. So there's probably 20 or 30 people all together. So you got broken down into like 4 different groups. And then you have one instructor who sits in the pool underwater with his little board and pen, facing you, and you're sitting in a row in front of him, and you've got these skills that you have to demonstrate. But you have to demonstrate it in a way that you have to be able to teach. So you have to do these skills in front of him, and he'll sit there and he'll mark you out of 5. Basically, at the end of it, you will count up how many points you have out of 1 to 5 on each subject or each skill, and then you have to have a certain amount to pass the bits. So I did all this and I passed, but I failed my written exam. On one of the sections, I did not meet the 75% rate. I was gutted. I have to admit, I was gutted. But I spoke to the people there, and basically 1 week later, the guy was in my town. So he said he will give me another shot to do it 1 week later. I was like, cool. So I had a week. I studied my arse out for the bits that I got wrong. He come round a week later. My Rod was there, my course director. Andy, the big man, and Paddy was there. Give my exam. Off we go. So I did this. I passed by like 1 point. I literally on the buzzer, I think. So it was a big relief for me to pass this, because it does cost a lot of money as well. It's around about 130,000 baht. So yeah, I passed this. I finally became a diving instructor in July 2019. So it's been nearly 7 years. Wow. So since then, I've done many courses. I've taught many people how to dive. I've taken many people for their first ever dives, and I've taken thousands of people that already have licenses for awesome dives. So the mission was sort of complete. I come to Thailand to basically learn how to dive and to work as a diver, and I did this up to the point of my instructor. Because this is obviously not quite finished, I'm going to leave the video here, and then I'm going to do a part 2 and carry on from where I stopped here. Okay, so I'm going to sign off, and part 2 will be coming very soon. So stay tuned and look out for it. See you in the next one.